This video is brought to you by my two books, Practical Music Theory for the Rock Guitarist and The Blues Guitar Bible. Want to learn about modes, harmony, scales, chord substitution and keys? Or maybe you're interested in supercharging your blues guitar rhythm and lead chops. Whatever you're interested in, I guarantee you will be hitting the fast lane to progress with either of these works. Both feature video demonstrations and tutorials, loads of tabs and jam tracks to play along with, and I promise you, everything is explained in crystal clear plain English. Check out the links in the description for more details. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well and Happy New Year. This video will be going out when I return from my Christmas holidays radio silence. It'll be going out 2nd of January. It's not even December yet as I'm recording this, but you know, forward planning and all of that. And it just struck me that one of the benefits of every year that passes really is as you collect more birthdays, as my doctor says. Well, you have collected more birthdays, so now we need to check your blood pressure, all that kind of stuff. One of the benefits of that process is that you get to enjoy that thing that only comes with, reaching a degree of maturity. I'm talking about nostalgia. And the year in question I'm thinking about now is 1984. Now, what was going on in 1984? Well, the big hit TV show in the UK that year was The Jewel in the Crown, a historical costume drama thing about the British Raj in India, all that kind of stuff. Misty-eyed nostalgia through rose-coloured rose-tinted spectacles, much the same as this video today. The big thing in the news was the ongoing coal miners' strike, and I guess the big musical event of the year was Christmas 1984. This group of this collective of individuals, shall we say, the great and the good, the rock glitterati of the time, getting together to record the Band-Aid single. All of those things featured in my reminiscences of being 17-year-old in 1984. But there's one which is much more significant to me as a guitar player. Because, you see, in 1984, I, as a fresh-faced student, went from my hometown in Middlesbrough to college. I went over to this side of the country, the English Lake District. Nearest town to the college was Ambleside. And yes, I went to this establishment here. Let's drag the little man off his perch down here and put him on there and have a look. This is my alma mater. This is where I went to college. Ray Castle. It was, back then, a college of marine electronics and telecommunications. Basically, I studied there to be a merchant navy radio officer. And, yes, found out I was absolutely hopeless at Morse code, which kind of scuppered things. But nevertheless, I used what electronics qualifications I garnered there to go and work in industry after leaving college. So let's abandon that. Now, one of the things that was in the college library, why this was in the college library of an electronics and kind of radar and ship's radio maintenance college, one thing that was there was this book here, The Guitar Handbook. And it's out of print at the moment, but I learned so much from that book. To the point, I basically monopolised that book. I kept kind of taking it back to the college library and getting it out again, and I think I don't think I gave anyone else a chance to kind of have a look at that book, because as far as I was concerned, this is mine, and unfortunately I ended up having to give it back. But I did get another copy of it later when it was a revised and updated edition. Let's have a little bit of a look at what exactly is in this fantastic book. Right, so here we have it. The Guitar Handbook by Ralph Denyer. A unique source book for the guitar player, amateur or professional, acoustic or electric, rock, blues, jazz or folk. Forward by Robert Fripp. And let's just have a little bit of a look. This is the updated version. It's not the original version that I had back in the 80s. that I got from the college library, but I bought it again myself in the early 90s, and this looks like very much that updated and revised version of it. We start off with a foreword, as it says there, by Robert Fripp, and Andy Summers and Lee Dixon, who was Eric Clapton's guitar tech at the time. You can see the dates there that they've given. The Andy Summers foreword was from the original publication in 1982, and then in 92, which just about sort of chimes with my memory of when I got this version of the book for myself. It's 30 odd years ago, 32, 33 years ago. But, you know, this is where I first heard of names like Django Reinhardt and Charlie Christian. I remember going to the local lending library where you borrow books, but they would also they had a small kind of vinyl collection there that you could borrow as well, and they would order stuff for you. So, you know, that's I ordered some Django Reinhardt and Charlie Christian, and I knew about Chuck Berry and Bo Diddley at the time, and BB and Freddie, and Eddie Cochran and Dwayne Eddy, and all the rest of these guys. But I knew the name Frank Zappa, but I'd never really paid attention to any of his stuff. So that was also something that I discovered from this book, and first heard of that album you can see there, Freak Out. There we go. That came from the local lending library. The lady that served me with it did give me a rather kind of funny look when she handed that one over. But anyway, Syd Barrett, never heard of him before this book. You know, all I knew about Pink Floyd back then was that they'd had a massive hit with Another Brick in the Wall, and, you know, sort of this was all part of my musical education. Stanley Clarke, Jeff Beck, again, the only thing I knew about Jeff Beck back then was Hi Ho Silver Lining, and reading these little short bios in this book, you know, kind of turned me on to some important players. And you can see all the rest of them there, Andy Summers and Robert Fripp, and again, never heard of Pat Metheny before I'd read this book. And then and Steve Vai, he wasn't in the original 1982 publication of the book. This was very much part of the updated and revised early 90s edition. Then we go into a section on acoustic guitars, how they're built, you know, and all this was just fascinating stuff for me, you know, when I learned about things like truss rods and neck relief and all that sort of stuff, the difference between a classical and a flamenco guitar, for example. Then we move into steel string acoustics, and then there's electric guitars. Again, if we look down here, this is where I first started becoming aware of the three main neck constructions, like, you know, basically a set neck, bolt-on neck, and neck through. This wasn't anything that I'd even thought about before, and it was a journey of discovery into a topic that I was really interested in. There we kind of start talking about the history of electric guitars. You can see the Rickenbacker frying pan there, the Les Paul log, and the Merle Travis Bigsby guitar. And so on, and then there's kind of a history on Fender guitars. Yeah, this was the first time I'd seen anything about like the Starcaster. You know, knew nothing about the Starcaster, and then I'd only ever seen pictures of it until, well, relatively quite recently, when they started to become in vogue again. Gibson guitars, and then a whole section about basses. Let's just kind of go a little bit further into the book, move the slider forward a bit, and we can see that we've got a section on technique. We've got all there about where the harmonics are on there. Let's back that up a little bit. Scales and modes. Again, this is where I first started getting my music theory education from. And one thing I will say about this book is it's not written in a dry textbook kind of way. It's written in a very conversational, engaging manner. And the topics that are covered, you can see, well, we've had history of guitars, we've had synthetic scales and pentatonic scales and so on. We've had guitar innovators, we've had history of guitars, we've had, you know, Fender guitars, Gibson guitars, all the main sort of cornerstones of a block of knowledge that goes along with an interest in acoustic and especially electric guitars. Let's go forward a little bit. Here we go, alternative tunings. I didn't know before this book came along that the alternative tunings were a thing, and of course, like, I had some great fun experimenting with these. Further on we have a section here on guitar maintenance, showing you the simple guitar repairs and adjusting the neck, where I first got into modding and setting up guitars, and just general kind of maintenance. Let's go a little bit further on. I think here we've got talking about the relevant equipment, speakers, even down to the basics like how a loudspeaker works, and performance technology, and what we got here, active guitar circuitry. Just going back, all I'm doing here is just kind of dipping in and scrolling through and stuff. Let's go to closer towards the end. We have a bunch of chord shapes, and presumably, I remember there were scale diagrams in there as well. So, loads and loads of great info in this fantastic book that I now have a copy of. Now, I've mentioned this book many times on the channel, and as I've just said there, I finally got a copy of it. It's out of print, and prices can be a little bit fluctuating, shall we say. I've seen this book going for ridiculous amounts of money, but I managed to get a copy of it, which I'm just going to open now. I think this is the updated and revised edition. Oh no, even better, this is the original edition. This is, I didn't know what I'd got, but there, I have the book. And, oh gosh, I'm going to enjoy reading this. I mean, as I say, most of the stuff in this book now is stuff that I know and I'm well versed in these days through just being, a bit of a nerd about the topic of guitar and music over the past 40 odd years, but I'm just going to enjoy reading this in the same way that many people will probably still enjoy watching this TV show, or if they were around at the time, listening to that particular single. It's nostalgia. It's one of the benefits of getting of collecting more birthdays, as they say. So yeah. If you're not aware of this book, there's that Internet Archive kind of thing that we were looking at earlier. I'll post the link to that in the description, and I'll try and kind of find a few links for where you can get this book at the moment for a pretty reasonable price. I think I paid about 12 quid for it, but the last time I looked, they were going for like 40-50 quid. I'm not going to pay that for a book. Do you know what I mean? I've had a PDF copy of it for some time, but there's nothing quite like the tactile experience of sitting down in an armchair with a mug of something or a glass of something, and just remembering what it was like to be 17 years old. But it's a great resource, great learning resource. It manages to be both succinct and in depth at the same time, and all of the stuff that you and I as guitarists are interested about. So if you haven't already got it, if you've never read it, go and grab a copy and you will not be disappointed. And that is the video for today, folks. Yeah, back in focus. That is the video for today. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this first video of 2025, and if that's the case, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already done so, and why not drop me a like as well while you're at it. And don't forget, the live streams are back on every Friday, 5 PM UK time. We have a beer and we talk about stuff, basically. Beer and chat on a Friday. What's not to like about that? It's a great way to kick off the weekend, and I'd love to see you there if you can make it. But for now, I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.